Welcome to the AP. I am here with Johnny Weir, who we know from so many different things now. Skating, TV, now you're an author, musician. Thank you so much for coming in.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Now, when you were approached to write a book, what were your goals? What did you want to accomplish with your book?
You know, it was really funny because I discussed during the Olympics about writing a memoir and writing my story down so people could read it and understand where I come from and what kind of world I come from. And as soon as I did that one interview in Vancouver, we had so many publishing companies calling my manager's office and saying, we'd love to publish Johnny's memoir, please have him come in for a meeting. So there was one day in the spring when we went and did everyone. We met with everyone who had called and tried to find the best fit for me and the person that would be the most comfortable, and it turned out to be Gallery Books and Simon & Schuster. And it flowed so smoothly because everyone there is a family and so lovely. So they made me feel very comfortable to tell my story. And what I wanted to show the world was I'm not this crazy, flamboyant diva character that you all think I am. I've worked very hard for everything I've achieved. I come from a very small town and really, through nothing but strength and gusto, have gotten myself to the point where I am now. And I wanted to tell my story in a place where no journalist could twist my words, where nobody could tell the story of Johnny Weir through their eyes. I'm the only Johnny Weir there is, and I wanted to tell my story. So that was why I wanted to make the book.
Was it cathartic to tell your story?
It was incredibly cathartic to tell my story because I'm a very nostalgic person anyway. But when I was going back and reliving so many memories from my childhood and growing up and just different experiences I've had all over the world and through the years, it was incredible. I mean, I found myself in tears so many times, whether if it was a happy memory or a sad one. Just the process of rewriting my history was incredible. Everyone should do it, even if they aren't going to publish their life. You should write a journal. Remember what's happened to you. Remember where you've been and where you've gone and what you've done. And you'll feel so elated after to see what you've become.
Doesn't it also kind of make you, or just remind you of how grateful you should be for the experiences that you've had? I find if you write down like stuff that's happened to you and then really look at it in that way. Sorry. Duty of tape, don't worry.
One more time, reload me.
Doesn't it also, just by writing down your experiences, especially the good things that have happened, remind you
appreciation?
Yeah.
Writing everything down absolutely made me appreciate all of the things that have made me into Johnny Weir, a two-time Olympian, champion of many figure skating events, now a recording artist and an author and producer of my own shows and on television with 2 or 3 different shows all the time. And I mean, these things don't happen without hard work, and it really made me appreciate everything that I have done and sacrificed and gave up. A normal childhood, a normal schooling life, a normal, even having a normal relationship with my family has been difficult because I have been so driven. And I never really controlled those thoughts because I was just living and constantly going like a train on a track. And when I had to sit down and write it, I appreciated every moment that I remembered where I could see now as an adult where my parents had sacrificed, where my little brother had sacrificed, where my boyfriend from that period in my life when he had to sacrifice having a normal relationship with me because I was so busy and so driven. So I definitely find it very cathartic and very good for the soul to write down where you've been.
You've been able to cross over into so many different areas. Is that always something you wanted to do? Did you think of yourself as not just an athlete but an entertainer? Because now that you're an entertainer.
I've always thought of myself as an artist first and foremost, and figure skating is my main avenue of expressing myself and my main avenue of showing the world who I am. And through figure skating you learn about music, about dance, about theater, about acting, about business. Through figure skating and through sport and competing at an Olympic level, you learn so many different ways of communicating your emotions with the world. And because of all of my years, I've been able to try lots of different things. I have a single that was #1 in Japan this week, and I can't sing like Christina Aguilera. I can't sing like Rihanna. I can't sing like those people, but I gave it my all, and I think that's what people respect in what I do, whether it's skate in a show, sing a song, write a book. People appreciate that I do give 100% of myself. I never sleep. I'm always up working on some project or making phone calls or planning or doing this or doing that. And everything that I get from my fans and the people that love what I do, I try to give back. And that's been the main reason that I've been able to cross over and to do so many different things in the fashion world, in music, and entertainment. People like to have positive energy there. And I mean, I'm the same. I would hire friends of mine before I'd hire foes because I know that the energy would be great. And I think my strength is that I'm very open to the world. Anything I can learn, I want to learn. Even if I fall flat on my face after I learn it, it's your ability to get back up from those experiences, and I'm a very strong person in that way.
Now, what do you say to the people, everyone has critics, but people who just don't quite get you, that say, why is he dressing this way, or whatever? What do you say to those people? Or do you not say anything because you don't pay attention?
I have always paid attention to my critics just because in my way, it makes me stronger. When kids were calling me names in school, I used it to grow a thicker skin, to be able to deal with criticisms to come later. Now, as kind of a very public persona, I have to be strong because people aren't always going to like you, and I don't expect them to. Everyone is entitled to their own opinion. I've got no problem with that. I use what people would consider disadvantages in having negative press. Nobody can always be perfect. But I use my negative press to fuel me on and fuel me forward and make me stronger and make me more resilient. I don't dwell and cry and sob over things that I can't control. People aren't always going to like me. People always aren't going to get me. I don't need the world to get me. I get me. And that's the most important thing. And through my self-understanding, so many people have come into my life and are either fans of what I do or admirers of my skating or my writing ability now or what have you. And those are the people that I surround myself with and love. But you can't understand what good and happy and love are without sadness and hate and disappointment. They go together.
What do you say to your fans who, are buying your single and buying your book and following you and reading your Twitter updates and who are just supporting you so much along the way?
I can only say thank you to my fans. There are no words quite big enough to thank them for everything that I've been given through them. I mean, I very firmly believe that my second trip to the Olympic Games was, it had a lot to do with my skating prowess and my ability, but it had a lot to do with my fans. Figure skating is a very political sport, and I think had they been given the opportunity, my Olympic governing body, the U.S. Figure Skating Federation, wouldn't have sent me to this Olympics if they'd had a choice. But I had so many people supporting me and backing me and constantly writing and tweeting and just supporting me. And, financially I was having trouble last year because I wasn't on our U.S. team really on the high level, and I needed financial help to pay for my coaching or my ice time or costumes or something. My fans stepped up and helped me get through my season financially. There's no way I can possibly thank my fans for continuing to support every project I do, continuing to love me, and everything that I get from them, whether it's love or finances or support. I put all of that back into my projects that I work on for them. I want them to be entertained. I don't need a mansion somewhere and lots of cars. I want them to be able to appreciate my art, and I want them to know that I appreciate them.
What are your, since you do have so much going on, what do you have coming up? What are your goals for this year that you can share?
This year, it's already starting off crazy. It's 2011 now for just 12 days, And I was in Russia when the new year came. I was performing in shows there. I came home immediately to start doing press for this book and to get the word out that I have a memoir and that I think it's great for everyone to read because it's a very American story. The cover art is crazy, and that's what people think of me, but the story inside is very, very common in this country. People work very hard to get where they are. So I've got this book. I've got the song now that's climbing the charts all over the place. I am planning my own spectacular stage show, not just an ice show, but I'll have dancers and porn stars and people dancing in cages and acrobats and singers and dancers and instrumentalists and just everyone. I want a huge sort of cabaret moment, including ice skating in a stage show. I'm planning that. I have another season of my hit, I guess I can say, reality series, Be Good Johnny Weir. Last season it was on the Sundance Channel. This year it's going to be on Logo. We're filming that already. I'm doing press all over the place. I am going to do a huge photo shoot for MAC Cosmetics the end of this month. That's just the beginning of the year.
Wow.
That's
do you ever
the first
get
quarter.
downtime?
I never get downtime.
Do you prefer it that way?
I definitely am a workaholic and prefer to constantly be going. Of course, I need to sleep. I even thought of, checking into a spa or even a rehab just to sleep for a week. And while that may not be the best thing to do, I need to go away for a week at some point and just turn all my phones off, turn the email off, turn all of these things off, and just relax. But my whole team does. It takes really an army to get me to these points where I'm at. But this year, 2011, is going to be very exciting. And hopefully this year I'll start training again for the 2014 Olympics in Sochi, Russia.
Wow. I don't know how you fit it in, training.
Well, it's hard to think to fit it in. And to be honest, it will take a complete commitment from me. So as much as I've been all over the place lately and on all the TV shows and in the newspapers and things like that, if I start to train for the Olympics again, you will not see me. I will be just like I was before Vancouver and just like I was before Torino, 4 years before that. Close my world off, train, compete, work, diet, live like an athlete, live like a monk, really. And that's what it takes to be an Olympian. You have to focus on the one objective. Now it's easy to do lots of things because nothing is the Olympics right now. But if I decide to do that again, you won't hear from me for 4 years.
What's it like to go to the Olympics as, a competitor?
The thing I remember most from my first Olympic Games in 2006, aside from my performances, and it was very bittersweet. My short program was wonderful. My free program was bad. I lost a medal for my country and for myself, and it was a lot to deal with at a young age. But the thing that I remember the most is walking into the opening ceremony and walking in this huge group of American athletes with the flag flying in front of us, Stars, Stripes, and Skates in Europe, in a time where America was, and it still is, pretty unpopular around the world, and having an entire arena stand for our team and stand for our flag when we walked in, and the cheers and the whistles and the bells and just the announcer saying United States of America and being part of that force and that army and that team going to show the world how good we are at sports. It's a feeling that you can never recreate, and it's hard to explain. I get goosebumps still just thinking about it. That's from the first Olympics. This Olympics, and Olympics you watch on TV always for that Olympic moment when somebody totally either wins that gold medal or has the performance of a lifetime or has the biggest defeat of a lifetime. That's what we watch the Olympics for. And in Vancouver, I had all the doubters in the world on my shoulders, and I was the third qualified American man, so I wasn't even a favorite. I already knew going into the Olympics that I probably wouldn't medal even if I skated perfectly. And what I had to say and my resolve was, give these people a show. Entertain these people, make them laugh, make them cry, make them feel something. And the short program was excellent. It was great. It was the best that I'd done all season. And somehow I made it into the final group of 6 skaters for the gold medal round, the free program. And I was skating through the performance, like not even on autopilot, like I was on a cloud. I was so nervous before the event that I was crying and sad and just, I can't believe it's finally here. This is another Olympics. I can't do the same like I did in the last Olympics. It's so much pressure. I can't even describe the pressure that's on an Olympic athlete. And I sailed through the first 3 minutes of the performance, 3.5 minutes, no major glitches, jumps were all perfect, the audience is slowly getting louder and starting to build. And I stopped at the end of the rink, looked into the audience, did one final pass of footwork, one spin, stopped the performance, and ended sort of in a back bend with my whole chest pointing up to the sky, and all I wanted to do was give people a moment where they were crying and standing up and clapping. That would be my gold medal. And as I was laying back looking up, I could feel the entire building and almost like the entire world stand up on their feet, clapping and screaming as loud as they could. Flags from all over the world, not just American flags, Japanese, Russian, Canadian flags flying in the audience, people standing up. That moment is really the culmination of everything I've ever done in my life, every decision I've ever made, every mistake I've ever made. That moment when I was in the ice in front of the world, showing them everything that is me, that's the moment of my life. And that's what the Olympics are about.
Wow. That's amazing. It gives me goosebumps.
Good. I mean, that's what it is. The Olympics aren't for everybody. So few people get to compete in them. And you have to be totally respectful and honor that as an athlete. But the goal of going to an Olympics is to have that moment. And I must have done something good, like they say in The Sound of Music. I must have done something good to deserve that and be blessed enough to have that moment as a moment that I'll never forget and as a moment in my life.
Wow. Are you going to record more music?
I hope to record more music. Dirty Love was so much fun, and it was just a really fun project. I went into my friend's studio one afternoon and we started playing around on the computer and with beats and lyrics, and before I knew it, we had a pop song. And the more I listened to it, the more I was like, okay, I'll skate to it and people will never know it's me and it'll be fun and hopefully they'll like it. And then I said, no, we're gonna put this out and people are gonna dance. They're gonna boogie, they're gonna get dirty, they're gonna make babies to this song. I mean, that's where I wanted it to go. I never do any project for money. I do it because I love it and I enjoy it and I feel like I can grow from it. And with Dirty Love, it was just, it flowed and it was so much fun. And when I put it out, people started saying, like, we know you can't sing as well as you sound on this record. You were obviously auto-tuned, which is funny. I wasn't auto-tuned as much as I thought I would have to be, which is good. But they were like, we know you're an athlete, you're a skater, you're not a singer, but this is good. We're proud of you, Johnny. You did a good job. And, with that said, I'd love to test myself and again, start taking voice lessons and improve my voice and see what kind of singer I could actually turn into. And not just do something for fun, but actually try to do it. You can't do anything. I mean, I taught myself to speak Russian. I learned to speak French. I learned how to figure skate. I now can throw a football quite well. There are lots of things I can do that I had to work for to do. And singing, I think, could be another one. It could be fun to record more music.
Yeah, and hey, it's already #1 in Japan. That's amazing.
I cannot believe it's #1 in Japan. It stayed there, for half the day, but still, it got to #1 in a foreign country where I'm not even promoting it right now. That's amazing, and that's a true testament to my fan base around the world.
Good for you. All right, thank you so much.
My pleasure, thank you.
Good job. And actually, we need to just take a couple quick photos
Okay.
for our photo.